I've let the carving dry overnight, so the glue's all set. Quite a chunky piece of wood, doesn't look that much like a hare at the moment, except it's got a couple of ear blocks at the top. So I'm going to hold it with a carver's screw at the back. So I've drilled my hole here. I'm using quite a big screw. You could use a lag bolt for this. So the screw goes in the back here, like that, on a taper. And then I'm going to hold the block itself on a post, which I'm going to put into this end vise here, so I can adjust the height. And what's important about this is that when you do something like this, put the post in, you've got to make sure that the vise doesn't cant like that, twist. So I've got a block the same thickness as this wood, and I pop that into the far end of the vise so that it doesn't leave the vise and so damage it. So put that in there, and that'll lean back a bit. And then the block goes through here, and that means I can get fairly well round at it. And there's the screw in place. So there's my block of wood ready to start carving. But before I do, what's really important is I just pause and just work out what I'm doing. The first thing to do is to make sure that you have all your reference materials, your drawings, your photographs, all that stuff at hand, and look at them all the time as you're going along. Because these drawings are only a guide to get you started. They're not the carving itself, which is obviously fully three-dimensional. Now, I am not making a model, but I'm thinking that any part that I don't know, I will make a model. For example, if I wasn't sure about the eyes or the nose, I could make a little model in clay. But I'm thinking I have enough information with my good photographs and my drawings to get me going. So, just looking at this block of wood, you can see very clearly the front view, but of course everything's in the wrong place, like the eyes are here and they will be further back, and that's where the side view, the side drawing, really comes into its own. So you can see here that the eyes are right back along this roll along here somewhere. The other thing we can see to begin with is that this piece of paper here is actually a little bit wider than my block. So I have a choice of taking a little bit off the front or just ignoring it for the moment and dealing with it at the back later if I need to, and that's what I'm going to do. So I know I've got a high spot here. So this is a high spot. In other words, the nose area is a place I'm not going to take much wood away, hardly any, just cleaning it up if anything, but moving it into the rest of the carving. So I know I've got a high spot there, and I know, because I worked it out, that where the join is here is at the top of the nose. So I know that from the high spot down there, all this across here must come away. So I'm going into here and into the middle of the hair along the centre line. The ears, well, you can see that they're different. This one on this side is further back here somewhere. And this one on this side is towards the front, and that's going to be something that makes the carving more interesting. I'm going to work those out a bit as I go along, but you can see immediately from the side drawing that quite a lot of wood for this ear on this side has to be removed. So there will be wood from here to be removed. So I can see those things immediately. But I'm going to start with this taking this corner off here and working into the back, because that gives me a high spot along the nose like this, and from there I know that I can work down into the carving. So that's what I'm going to do, and this stage is called Bosting in. It's the roughing out stage when I try and get everything in its right shape, not worrying about details, just trying to get rid of these corners and get things placed pretty much where they are and in relation to everything else. So, having a good think about that, I'm now ready to start taking some wood away. Now the line I'm really interested in is from the nose here along the snout and then into the forehead here, because all this will come away eventually. So I've run up the middle of the hair here, the head, and I'm rounding this over at the top here. The eye is sort of there, but it sticks out because this wood here is pinched in, so it's all a bit deceptive at the moment. But what I'm not sure about is this length here, and I think I've got it too long, and if I put my hand there, which is what I do, and I get myself a silhouette, I think the little bit of extra wood is throwing me out, and I really need to take a piece off this front. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this amount of wood off here and shorten this before I go any further. It's all a bit tricky at this stage, but something tells me that's right, so I'm just going to go and do it. I have to redraw my nose. So actually, take it off. Go this way a bit. So the nose now is here and a bit higher up. I rather like that. So we have these. I'm going to redraw this. Here's the top of the nose, which is this bit here. I'll just round that over. And then it's so wide. It's heading up like this. So we've got this rather pointy shape here, so I'm going to take a little bit off this side now. I've marked in where the nostrils go here. This is such an important area, and it's from this that everything else is going to follow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a rasp and just consolidate this surface so that I can see it better. I've marked in where I think the nostrils are going, roughly. There's a split here, and then what we've got a couple of like pouches here, and the actual head itself goes thin, which allows the eyes to stick out. So there's a whole pouchy thing here, and we go from narrow to thick. So let's have a look. Take some of that off and then we can come back in here. So I'll do some work on one side, then I'll copy it onto the other. That's my general way of approaching. So around here is going to be the eye somewhere sticking out here. I've left plenty of room, so even if this isn't quite in the right place, rather I've left plenty of wood, I can still got plenty of wood to remove here. Here I am a little further on. There's the sort of top of the snout here, and it comes down, so there's the, around here is the cheek, or the sort of pouch at the front, getting up to the nostril there. So there's that bit. And here, somewhere in there, will be the eye. And I've left a nice big lump here, so I've taken wood away from there into the back. So there's my high spot over here still, somewhere like that. But what I want to do now is just remove some of this wood away from the ears, because that's really far too square and bothering me. So I need to turn to the ears next and do a little bit more of taking wood away. But I'll copy this on the other side, so I'll keep it equal. Still early days, lots to remove, but I'm sort of seeing things happening here.